Hi there, welcome to yet another episode of the National Debates here at the Debate Circle. I'll be your host, Waya Jeffrey. Now we have a task at hand, and the task at hand is to dissect the motion that states the government should ban advocacy for religious belief in public places. Proposing this motion, we have Mbooni Girls, and opposing this motion, we have Jamhuri High School. All the best to the two teams. First speaker team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Just like your name, your religion identifies you. And just like not everyone knows your name, should everyone know your religion. My name is Cynthia Nekesa from St. Theresa Mbooni Girls, and I'm here to strongly propose on the motion that says that the Kenyan government should ban advocacy for religious belief in public areas. To ban is to legally stop something. Advocacy, public support, or recommendation for a particular purpose. Religious belief, assurance in existence of a supernatural being and depending on it. Public places, these are places that are open to everyone, such like markets, towns, streets, roads, and the media. According to Nelson Mandela, he said, religion should be regarded as a private matter. Meaning, what you believe in should not be known by the public. Rather, it should be something that you keep it confidential to yourself. Well, when you look at, according to Article 33 of the Kenyan Constitution, it says freedom of worship. But then again, what do we see in the public? This freedom of worship has brought a lot of negative effects to us. We start with disruption of normal activities. I am sure, while out there, you have been in the bus stop, then you see a religious leader coming to advocate for his religion outside the bus stop, making you to delay your time. In 2019, according to Daily Nations, the great DJ Issa, who's now late, may his soul rest in peace, filed a complaint against a religious leader who was advocating for his religious belief across his concert. This man had invested 3 million shillings to this concert, and due to the disruption that he got, he lost 2 million shillings. Now tell me, this is somebody that was expecting more of an income of more than 6 million, but he made a loss of 2 million shillings, which even was not which made him also to lose his funds. And right now, even while he died, he still dearly hold that grudge. When it comes to religion, we all do not share the same opinions. So definitely, while advocating for your religion in public, in one way or another, you're offending your fellow. According to the One World Unity in 2019, religious advocacy in public is one of the reasons we are having disunity among citizens. While advocating for your religion, there are beliefs that you believe, and the same beliefs you'll find another religion that criticizes. So you're trying, in one way you're advocating for a religion, you're offending your fellow. So why put it while it's something that is disunifying us? I know you might think we are trying to oppress people's right when it comes to freedom of worship. That's not what we're trying to propose. The government did ban the use of plastic bags, but we still see the use of plastic bags in Kenya, right? So what we are proposing is that when the government bans this religious advocacy in public, they try to ban it by regulating and putting some restrictions on it. Like places, why should you carry your religious advocacy around schools, around markets, around hospitals? These are places where serious business is taking place. How? While advocating for religion, you should not dare interfere about other religions so as to unite us and not to divide us. While advocating for a religion, focus on the words that you're saying so that the government should put restrictions in order to make sure religion is supposed to be a unifying factor among us, not a dividing factor. Thank you.
First speaker team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
Men of power have faith, and men of logic have belief. And believe you me, I am Kibet Onyango from Jamhuri High School, a fanatic of logic. What can you do to draw my faith when I have a belief? Yes, I come with logic. The motion of today is the Kenyan government should ban advocacy for religious belief in public places. What is to ban? Ban is to implement a prohibition on something. In this case, a prohibition on the advocacy for religious belief. Now, advocacy refers to any form of expression, communication, persuasion aimed at endorsing or promoting a religion and its teachings. What is a public place? She has explained well. These are locations that are accessible to the general public, e.g. streets, parks, government buildings. These are areas where people from diverse cultures, backgrounds, and religion come together. Now, according to the survey conducted by the International Human Rights polling, a reputable polling organization, 85% of Kenyan citizens believe that individuals should have the right to express their religious belief in public places. Thank you for mentioning Article 33 and 38. Now, Article 38 and 19 also mention, which is part of the Constitution, states that every person has a right to seek, receive, or import information through any media. So every person has a right for their own freedom of expression. Now, on to my first point, upholding freedom of expression. Banning of the advocacy for religious belief in public places infringes and upholds the freedom of expression that everyone has a right to. This right has been given to us by the International Human Rights Convention. And you know, as I said, Article 38 and 39, everyone has a freedom of expression. And if we take this freedom of expression, we are going to ignore the role of religion in the society. You see, religion shapes the values, culture, and ethics of a society. By not advocating religious beliefs, important discussions about ethics, about morals, about everything in the society will be overlooked, leading to a lack of spiritual guidance in public places. Now, it also leads to increased alienation and discontent, this ignorance of religion. You see, not advocating religious beliefs may create feelings of alienation to people. These people who are religious individuals who value the opportunity to share faith with others, they will be undermined and be alienated from their society. Why? Because this is the things, they spread their faith to others. And if you stop advocating, where will their faith go? Who will they spread this faith to? Now, team proposition. You bring in the idea of implementing a ban to the society. Now, think about this. The thing that is spreading the religious conflicts which they will bring up is actually hate speech. Hate speech. Now, how do we solve the hate speech? How do we solve the implementation? Instead of banning a blanket ban over the whole of advocacy, how about we ban the hate speech? We ban the hate speech that is in this advocacy. Now, there will be no religious conflicts. There will be no more conflicts, leading to us advocating for our religious belief and no more bad things happening to the society. And with that, I raise my case, leaving you with a quote: "In diversity's embrace, let freedom sow. In open dialogue, we find unity galore." Team proposition.
Second speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Our African parents always say, "Sikuchapi, nachapa makosa." My name is Sophia Kalundu from St. Theresa, Mbooni Girls. The first opposer has talked about banning hate speech. Don't you think you're supporting us? Because we are not banning religious advocacy completely. We are restricting. In countries like Nigeria, according to the World Population Bureau, they have more than 200 million people, and we need to place restrictions so as to control. According to the Star News by Laura Shetuma, 7th of March 2022 at 5 p.m., the late Professor Magoha, may his good soul rest in peace, made restrictions and said that students are allowed to choose the subjects based on religion. Our Kenyan schools have a tendency of forcing students to learn a certain religious subject. Mind you, studying a certain religious subject is advocating for a certain religion. And when we force students from different religious backgrounds to study a religion that they do not belong to, we are oppressing them. They will feel like we do not have the freedom to practice our own way, our own religion. And this is why the government has placed restrictions and said that students should be allowed to choose subjects based on religion. An ambassador from Brazil, a father of 3, wanted to take his children to learn with him in Benskatia, Libya. This is according to the international news. But the local schools there could not admit these students because of their religious background. The Kenyan government, in turn, is warning other schools against discriminating some students because of their religion. Can you imagine
You have worked so hard to get a specific mark, and you cannot go to your dream school because of your religious background. This is why we're placing restrictions, and we are bringing about control in religious advocacy. Some politicians are using religious advocacy to gain political power. Isn't it crazy on how you see some political leaders are going out and hiring some religious leaders, all in the name of they want to gain political power? The US Embassy 2019 said that law state FBOs can relate to matters containing relating with social or faith-related matters, but they should not engage in political matters, and they should go and the political leaders should find other means of gaining their political power. And this is why we are placing restrictions. These political leaders are not supposed to go out there and start using religious advocacy in the wrong manner. It's my prayer that you join forces with my team and together we support the restricting of religious advocacy. Thank you.
Second speaker, team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, it might not be on a Sunday, but today being on a Sabbath, the sermon is very simple: advocacy for religious beliefs in Kenya. Now, I may not be Jesus Christ. I admit I cannot walk on water, but I'm William Benjamin. I walk on unsubstantial points. You see, the first proposer came here and talked about religious leaders in bus stations not giving you the time to go to those bus stations and making you go late. But nobody asked them to listen to that religious leader. Nobody asked them. That is what we bring to the table. Now, I'm talking about a covenant. A covenant is an agreement between two people binded by God. So, by them proposing to the motion, they also propose that we should remove the sweetness in weddings. You see, in weddings we find covenants. The part that I say, I, William Benjamin, swear that I will be there for the highs and lows, I'll be there for thick and thin, I'll be there for tough and strong. Those are advocacy for religious beliefs. You see, you hold a Bible so that you may say those words. That is advocacy for religious beliefs. You see, a research done by Barclay Center of Religious Peace and Worldwide Affairs proved that banning advocacy for religious beliefs will increase the number of unfaithfulness in the country by 29%. 29% is a huge number if we don't allow this advocacy for religious beliefs to be done in public places such as weddings. What do I mean by weddings? I've already told you the part that you swear and you get and you vow oaths. You see, I want your future husband to be faithful. I want your future wife to be faithful, and I want you to live in peace, in love, and prosperity. And this is the part that all of you say, "Oh." Yes, exactly. That is what we are talking about. You see, other examples of covenants are inaugurations and courts. You see, late last year when the president was being sworn in, advocacy for religious beliefs in public places. He quoted the Bible as a means of swearing of the president. That is what we are bringing to the table. Now, talking about faith, promoting interfaith understanding. That is what also we bring to the table. You see, I mean, you want to know why Muslims wash themselves before they go to pray. You want to know why Christians get baptized. Well, the solution is promoting interfaith understanding. So, public places provide the opportunity for you and others from different religions to interact, to know their differences in your religions, so that you may learn more about others. And now, team proposition come here to remove the constructive of that, of those conversations that help us reduce religious conflicts. Now, research from Duke University shows that interfaith dialogues reduce tensions and religious conflicts. The dialogue allows people from different faiths to share their beliefs, faithfulness, understanding, and empathy. Now, banning religious beliefs. Also, remember, Earlier this year, we were holding a prayer day in Kenya. Now, NTV shows that we, as we are holding that prayer day in Kenya, we were advocating for religious beliefs in public places. Now, what happened? We were discussing about the benefits of our country. Now, the Kenyan government should ban the advocacy for religious beliefs in public places. It is that simple. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
Third speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Well. Truth be said, you have put it for us how and why you support the advocacy of religious beliefs. But let me tell you an insight on what you're missing out. From St. Theresa Mbooni girls, my name is Faith Nyaga. You've talked about 85% of the majority actually supporting advocacy for religious beliefs. We are not refusing the advocacy. Actually, in Kenya, a population of 53 million, 85.3% of this population claim to be Christians, but only 10% are claiming that they actually engage in church activities. What does this bring about? It brings about biasness towards the low population. You've also talked about how you're not forced to listen to these religious leaders. But we are not standing there. We're not telling them, come to us. We are waiting for you to advocate for us. No. When they go to bus stations, they have an aim of pursuing people. And that's what they do. They are persistent. It's not at your free will. They are persistent on you. You've also tried to rebut our side of the motion quite twice. But us, what we are saying is regulations, not total banning. And if we are totally banning, it is on those sectors which are actually affecting us in a very negative way. Saying that you're talking about swearing in and church weddings, we do not deny that these are actual advocations, but there is no reading of text apart from the weddings, where we find that quotations of text, but we are not interpreting the message in a depth where you find that you're actually being encouraged to join that religion. No. When you're talking about the National Prayer Day, this only shows that our country, Kenya, is a country that encourages religion. And this, in terms of public banning, is what we are saying we should ban manipulative advocacy. What do I mean about manipulative advocacy? Well, how many citizens have lost their lives, have lost their property because of such advocation? Let me take you to what was reported in April 2023 in our country by various social media platforms such as Citizen TV, NTV, and Daily Nation, where we saw the Shakahola mass death. Here we saw that over 400 bodies were exhumed from the mass killings, and one could wonder how were these people even going there. Well, let me elaborate for you. 60% of the population of these 400 bodies were from televangelism, and 5% were from public gathering. Let me share to you a story of my own personal belief. Well, I had an uncle from my mother's side, and he was so perpetuated and so infiltrated by this televangelist that he actually started going low on his occupational work. This resulted to 2 warnings from his employer. After that, he got a deduction in his ranking in the employment. His wife and children threatened to leave him, but he told them, let us go there for a safe haven. This brought about a message 2 months later reporting that I didn't have an uncle no more. Political violence, as said by my fellow proposer, has been advocated when the political leaders identify themselves with certain religion. Same as economic decline, which have been brought about by congregational marchings, which have taken to the streets advocating for religion. 1.2 million shillings is being lost, as reported by the National Treasury, when such advocations are taking place. With the tough economic times and the national debt of 9.18 trillion shillings, do we really want a failing economy, or should we look for better ways of developing ourselves? Thank you.
Third speaker, team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
1 + 1 minus a double solution is equals to none. 1, a problem that is limited freedom of expression in terms of your religion, +1, yet another problem, inhibition of social network, minus a double solution, advocating for your religion in public. The 2 problems are solved. The name is Newton Boy, here to oppose the motion that states the Kenyan government should ban the advocacy of religious belief in public places. Why does team opposition want you to advocate for your religion in public places? Number 1, fostering interfaith dialogue and understanding, as stated by my second speaker. You see, Spaces provide valuable opportunities for interfaith dialogue and understanding, contributing to social cohesion and mutual respect among diverse religious communities. Whatever that means is that on the point of understanding, I get to understand why he's wearing a robe and I don't ask him or I don't judge him. I get to understand why he's wearing a rosary and I do not judge him. I get to understand why Team Proposition have been given a chance to air out their views on religion to the public and I don't ask them why. But since they want us to ask them why don't we ask them why? You see, first, they speak of distraction of normal activities. And she gives an example of a pastor stopping you at the bus station. Ladies and gentlemen present, who forces you to listen to that pastor? The pastor is just doing his own work there. You have a choice to make. You have a choice. You can either listen to the pastor, you can either decide not to listen to the pastor and no one will ask you. You see, they speak of the Shakahola massacre. You see, and she even gives us an example of the uncle and the mother. The thing is, the mother decided to listen to Pastor Paul Mackenzie. The mother was not forced by anyone. Decisions. This is what we're saying. You are not forced to listen to anyone. You make personal decisions. And then they also bring in the idea of violence. Now, instead of banning religious belief, advocacy for religious belief in public places, why don't we ban, you see, they give us examples of, someone can go out and in the process of advocating for religious belief, this can actually lead to violence. Now, instead of banning religious beliefs, why don't we, instead of banning advocacy for religious belief, why don't we ban the violence in them? Why don't we ban the hate speeches in them? There is right to expression, but the government still can say, you know what, yes, there is right to expression for advocacy of religious belief, but in the end of the day, do not get to a point of hate speeches, do not get to a point of violence, and do not get to a point of, insults. Now, they say that the ban unites us, and this is a very simple question. How are we united if you worship in your room, if he worships in his room, if they worship in their rooms? How does that even bring unity in the first place? Do they understand the meaning of unity? You see, banning, they leave us point blank. How do they implement the banning, and which restrictions are they planning to actually advocate for this banning of religion in public space? And to give you a statistic published by Insiders Institute found that 70% of Kenyan citizens believe that public places should be platforms for interfaith dialogue and religious bridges between differences. A solution? Instead of imposing a ban, we can develop voluntary guidelines for responsible advocacy, collaborate with religious leaders, civil society, organization, government agencies, and together with Team Proposition to draft guidelines that encourage respectful and inclusive expression of religious beliefs in public places. And with that, go ye and spread the gospel and do not leave Team Proposition here. I rest my case.
Team Proposition, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
I really do not understand if you didn't hear me or I was not loud enough. I said when we are banning, we are not completely banning it, but putting some regulations, like how? When you're conducting your religion, you're not supposed to interfere with any other religion. Places, why should you go advocate your religion near schools? Why advocate it near hospitals? Why advocate it near business activities? Is it not right for the government to put designated areas, like in the Huru Park, and says, if you want to advocate for your religion, this is the place? That is what we were saying. And when we say violence, what we want to say is that we are not sharing the same opinions when it comes to religion. Therefore, if the people are not aware that the government has allowed everyone to be able to practice their religion at a specific time and a specific place, this brings about violence. We are trying to say, put a specific time so that if I am interested to go and listen to the religion, I go there. And when you said about the people going to Shakahola, let me tell you, it's the message. The leader misinterpreted the message. Let me tell you, when it comes to religion, we all believe our religious leaders. We depend on the religious leaders to tell us the right things. So whatever the leader says, we shall follow. And that is why we are proposing we put restrictions while banning it. Thank you.
Team Opposition, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
Why Team Opposition carries the day. Before we begin, let us pray. Father, Father, forgive them, for they ignore the fact that your Son told us to go and spread the gospel to the masses. Father, forgive them because they are forgetting that those people that went to Shakahola made a personal decision. Pastor Paul Mackenzie did not force anyone. Father, why? And we also thank you as team opposition for the victory. Why do we thank you? Father, we thank you because we win this motion because we give you points. Points like freedom of expression, increased in donation and disorderly. We we even give you a point on weddings. Father, these people do not want us to get married. Father, I thank you for this victory. Father, do not forget them when you go and spread the gospel. Somebody say amen. You see, I usually say that I came into Mount Kenya University as a scholar, but I'm certainly not living a scholar. You want to know why? I'm living a scientist. Why? Their evidence is hot air, and as Sir Isaac Newton, I'm about to prove to you that gravity exists by pulling all that down. And this is why we give you solutions like, instead of imposing the ban, why we can develop voluntary guidelines. Number 2, as stated by my first speaker, and this is why we as team opposition rest our case, and for team proposition, game over. Thank you.
Mbooni girls, the motion is saying the government should ban advocacy for religious belief in public places. I was very keen on these terms as compared to what was being said. Now, is school a public space? You know, these are some of the twists you can bring to your introduction. Is that okay? These are some of the twists you can bring to your introduction so that now you are comfortably advancing an argument that you've clearly defined your terms. So let's take a look at this so that we don't define different things and then we are presenting different points. That is really, really important. Then another question that comes out is, we're saying the government should ban advocacy for religious belief in public places. Are there countries where this has worked? That is something else I really wished I could hear from both teams. I'll say there was some fair justice done to this motion, but still a lot of research needed to be done.
Jamhuri High School, you were opposing the motion that the government indeed should not ban. And you said it should not ban because religion is it's a freedom of expression. That's a good point. You say that it's a matter of right. It's a human right. That's a good point. And you mentioned the articles that you mentioned in the Constitution. Now, if the government is not going to ban, what should the government do? And I really liked what came out with Newton Boy, where you're saying actually, we need inclusivity. Inclusivity, and you can go back. I think there is an SDG on inclusivity. I was expecting you would bring it out. Is it SDG 16? Peace and inclusion? I was expecting that should come out at that point and say actually everybody has a right and this actually advocates for that. You talked of social cohesion, which is a good point. Voluntary guidelines, agreeing with the proposers that indeed we need those voluntary guidelines to guide respectful and inclusivity around religion. I liked the twist William brought out about weddings, inaugurations, those being forums actually for advocacy of religion, including prayer breakfast and so on. Those were very good points.
And the scores are out. The judges have awarded St. Theresa Mbooni girls with 63.8%, a round of applause. The judges have awarded Jamhuri High School with 64.9%, a round of applause. Therefore, this makes Jamhuri High School the winners of these debates. Remember to get more of our content. Follow us on all our social media platforms at The Debate Circle on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Threads. For now, it's goodbye from us.